Well, hello. Thank you for joining us tonight at 6. I am Rolly Hoyt.
And I'm Jurnee Taylor. We hope you've had a great start to your Monday evening. It's been a warm start to the week, but what do I know? Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon. Tom?
What do you know? It's been a warm start to the week. That's what you know, and it's only Monday, right?
But we've seen clouds around. We were talking about maybe a weather impact alert last week at this time. What are you tracking right now?
We're going to hold back on the weather impact alert. There's just so much uncertainty with wind and how strong the storms could be, but we could still see a few a little bit later on this week. It's cloudy outside, but we had enough sunshine today to warm us into the upper 70s and low 80s. It'll be even warmer tomorrow, so let's get to it. Along with that, we have a few showers now beginning to die out or decay in parts of southwest and south central Arkansas. This is what your radar loop looks like this evening. And down around Pike County, Clark, Howard County, that's where we're seeing some activity that is beginning, as I mentioned, to wind on down. We'll take you there. You go near Daisy, Arkansas, Pike County, and even toward a Dallas County area. Just a few widely scattered showers. Van Buren County, just west of Clinton, and also one or two little cells popping up around Quitman, Guy, in the Heber Springs area. Now from there, we take a look at your numbers. We're 79 degrees. It's a little more humid out there. Temperatures over the next few days are going to be even warmer. 84 tomorrow with breezy conditions and a shower. 85 on Wednesday. A chance of scattered storms on Thursday, and another chance coming up this weekend ahead of a front. We'll have the latest timing for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Tom, thank you. All new here at 6. We are learning that Razorback football player Jaylen Brown has been released from the team following an arrest on Friday in Farmington. Police there arresting him for hindering apprehension or prosecution.
According to Washington County jail records, the 21-year-old was booked just after 11 a.m. on Friday and released the same day on a $560 bond.
He went to court earlier today, and he's due back there on June 17th. Over in Jefferson County, former sheriff candidate Mark Cannon now out on bail himself following an arrest for claiming on social media that someone had gotten a gun into the Jefferson County jail.
Now, this all happened during a live stream on social media where he also alleged that contraband was being smuggled into the facility by jail workers.
Police say this incident crossed the line into being a criminal act. Cannon's already being sued in 4 open defamation cases, and then last month accused Sheriff Lafayette Woods of being ineligible to even hold the office. A judge dismissed that case after Woods won the election.
Well, we're continuing to follow the Pines Mall project in Pine Bluff as a local realtor raises questions about the proposed redevelopment. THV11's Tanya Modizitsky also obtained records showing tension over transparency and brings us more in our THV11 investigation.
A project that could potentially reshape Pine Bluff.
I'm buying the entire mall.
But behind the scenes, questions about transparency when it comes to the Pines Mall project are already surfacing. And many locals thinking this is deja vu.
It's a here we go again type mentality.
Walter Washington, a realtor and Pine Bluff native, says Ed Pillar's idea of buying a mall for $62 million to make it into mall farm and marketplace, a hydroponic farm, is ambitious.
That type of project, we're not talking about a few months for construction time. I mean, construction time is going to be quickest, you're thinking maybe 18 months. Doing it in less than 12 months, that's pretty ambitious.
Pillar's claims his business as a 501c3, a nonprofit. He lists the EIN number on his website. And I found it on the Illinois Secretary of State's website, but not on the IRS website. Washington, who also has a background in public administration, says there are parameters when it comes to nonprofits operating as a for-profit business.
You have to really work within the confines of your structure. And being a 501c3 nonprofit, it's in the name that we can't utilize this entity to go seek investments that kind of, I guess, hide the risk, so to speak, so it can also potentially avoid taxation to a certain extent of those investments.
The city has not responded to any of our requests for comment, but I did an open records request, which reveals Pillar's getting upset. Pillar's and Mayor Vivian Flowers are in a group chat with another city employee discussing how to tell the public about this project. He told them he was closing and could not wait any longer for a news release and will do it on his own without the city. And he says this is crazy and says you will not hear any of anything from us. Mayor Flowers responding saying she's worked in government for 30 years and goes on to say, I've never seen or would myself send out an announcement as big as this without confirmation of completion.
Well, according to property records, the Vu family still owns the mall, so Pilars did not close on the property. We tried reaching out to him for further comment and have not gotten a response back.
We'll keep Tanya on the case, but this is a story, an example of the questions coming into our THV 11 Investigates tip line. If you've got a consumer problem that you need a solution for, our new hotline is now open. Call 501-590-4630 and leave a message.
You can also email our team at investigates@thv11.com. We guarantee a response to every concern, and you can also look for all new reports in THV 11 newscasts and on THV 11 Plus. Well, gas prices remain elevated despite the ceasefire between the U.S., Iran, and Israel. According to the price tracking site GasBuddy, a gallon in Central Arkansas is now $3.60 on average.
That's 3 cents more than last week, 43 cents more than mid-March. The national average, though, we can take heart at this, it remains unchanged, $4.07 a gallon. Now, the reason that ceasefire hasn't altered the price trends yet, trouble at the Strait of Hormuz. Today, the U.S. military set up a blockade on Iranian ports after failing to reach a lasting peace deal over the weekend.
Some of the key sticking points for the U.S. include that Iran stop enriching and storing uranium in funding for terrorist groups and fully reopen the strait without charging tolls. President Trump says lower-level talks are still taking place.
Well, when we spoke with Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders last week, we asked her where she stands on the stalled effort to build a prison in Franklin County. While she remains convinced it's the best location, libertarian political activist Spike Cohen is documenting the deep opposition that's still there. The former libertarian presidential candidate hosted a community meeting over the weekend. He shared plans to bring a documentary down here to Little Rock to keep the pressure on lawmakers and keep that $800 million project on hold.
They're worried it's going to destroy their community, not just the prison itself, but the fact that there isn't any actual infrastructure to feed it.
The state owns approximately 815 acres of land near Charleston to build the 3,000-bed facility, but critics, including from some GOP members of the legislature, have blocked attempts to fund it. It's not expected to be debated during the fiscal session. Lawmakers will dive into the nitty-gritty of other budget items tomorrow, including requests to fund new police roles at certain government offices. The Arkansas Supreme Court asking for an extra $100,000, give or take, to fill a new police chief role. That would be added to the nearly $13 million appropriation for the High Court, while Secretary of State Cole Jester wants $355,000 to hire 5 new corporals to serve on the Capitol Police Force.
It's been a year since an unsanctioned party at a public park in Conway turned into a deadly shootout.
And THV 11's Tamer Knight returns to that city tonight to examine the aftermath of the gunfight that left 2 people dead and 9 injured.
This is not Conway. The young people I know in Conway are good citizens. The young people I know in Conway are all about doing the right thing. And so we started at that moment to change the narrative.
April 13th, 2025, Conway police responded to Fifth Avenue Park where nearly 100 rounds of ammunition were found. The deadly mass shooting sparking outrage within the community.
And Conway is really good about coming together when tragedy strikes.
In the aftermath, community members joined forces with city leaders and stakeholders to introduce the Change the Narrative initiative.
So in this effort, we're doing all we can to change negative stereotypes. We're also doing all we can to address misinformation. And one part of that is the podcast that we're now doing.
A podcast that provides a platform for people from different walks of life with hopes of reaching the younger generation.
And just having a platform for them to share their experiences so that the younger community can see what it means to have success, how to get that success, what it means to be educated, what it means to, quite frankly, change culture.
In a statement to THV 11, Conway Mayor Bart Castleberry says he's on board with the podcast, saying their commitment to creating positive change in our community, in their families, and among their peers is meaningful and needed. But what does changing the narrative look like, you may ask?
And so what I want people to know is judge a person by their character and not the color of their skin. What I want people to know is you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to be uptight, that African American men in our community want the same thing that others in our community want.
And while the emphasis is placed on African American men, Pastor Maltbia says the initiative is a community effort.
Simply say this is not a true holiness thing. This is a Conway community thing. It's not black, it's not white. It is a community coming together to make this a better place to live.
And Conway, Tamer Knight, THV 11 News.
Well, still ahead, he spent decades behind the camera capturing other people's biggest moments. Now, a veteran news journalist is stepping in front of the lens to share his story about a life-changing battle of his own.
Warm conditions for the rest of the week. Breezy tomorrow. Small shower chance. Look for highs in the middle 80s. Very warm for this time of year. Those 80s stay with us. And we'll talk about the next chance of rain when we come back.